hovering close to the edge of fire. Then the blast erupts in a roaring tide, pulling every signal back into the ride. Voltage recoil, tearing through the zone, ripping through the dark like a force cyclone. Riding on the shock where the sparks are thrown, lost inside the surge where the charge has grown. Echoes fall thin in a glowing trace, drifting through the static of an empty space. But the current waits in a hidden core, ready to ignite and rise once more. Echoes swarm tight in a mirrored spin, low end pressure dragging from within. Leads carve patterns in a looping glide, pulling all the motion to the deeper side. Hi-hat ticks, slide like a splitting chain. Rhythms cut sharp through the metal strain. RZA pulls taut in a rising hold, holding every breath in a grip ice cold. Pulse divergence tearing at the core, breaking through the static with a violent roar. Racing on the line where the shadows pour, lost inside the drift, wanting something more. Kick snaps hard like a loaded strike. Drums fold quick in a shifting spike. Vocal grains scatter in a filtered sweep, tracing broken echoes where the signals leap. Breakdown dims, soft like a fading glow. Silence wraps tight as the patterns slow. Then the launch erupts with a sudden blast, dragging every moment back lightning fast. Pulse divergence tearing at the core, breaking through the static with a violent roar. Racing on the line where the shadows pour, lost inside the drift, wanting something more. Dissolve slow in a thinning stream, drifting like ghosts from a shattered dream. But the pulse remains in a quiet trace, ready to break free in another chase. Static coils deep in the fractured air, bass lines rumble with a coated snare. Lead tones spiral in a tightened spin, pulling every signal to the core within. Hi-hat snap like a sharpened thread, patterns cross paths where the circuits spread. Rise to climb slow in a crawling sweep, dragging every moment from the system's deep. Pulse divergence cutting through the haze, shifting all the waves in electric phase. Riding on the force felt like a cooling flame. Silence holds tight in a suspended frame. Then the lift burst back in a sudden strike, pulling every fragment into perfect sync. Pulse divergence cutting through the haze, shifting all the waves in electric phase. Riding on the force where the voltage plays, lost inside the noise of the drifting maze. Oh, lost inside the noise of the drifting maze. Lost inside the noise of the drifting maze. Oh, waveforms bend in a flickered glow, fading slow into the undertow. But the pulse remains in a hidden line, waiting for the next loop to realign. Sharp in the rising beat, bass kicks heavy in a looping heat. Lit notes streaking a metallic glide, pulling all the tension to the system side.
Hi-hats scatter like a silver rain, rhythms twist tight in a moving chain. Rhythm breathes slow in a stretched incline, ramping up the pressure in a narrow line.
Voltage stride tearing through the night, flashing every frame in a driven light. Riding on the spark of a coded flight, locked inside the surge where the waves ignite. Locked inside the surge where the waves ignite.
Kick drum storms in a hammering run, patterns collide as the sequence is stunned. Vocal cuts flare in a distant sweep, floating through the static where the layers leap.
Breakdown folds thin in a softened drift. Silence shifts slow like a fading lift. Then the build strikes hard in a rising blaze, pulling every cycle back into the phase. Voltage stride tearing through the night, flashing every frame in a driven light. Riding on the spark of a coded flight, locked inside the surge where the waves ignite. Locked inside the surge
past the noise like a thinning veil, yet the charge remains in a dormant glow, waiting for the next strike to overflow.
Voltage hums deep in a midnight glide. Bass crawls heavy from the system side. Lead lines shimmer in a looping twine, pulling all the echoes into one design. Hi-hats flick like an electric rain. Rhythms punch sharp in a coated chain. Rise a shift slow in a rising thread. Tension creeping close as the moment spread. Night circuit burning through the haze, flaring up the dark in a neon blaze. Riding on the pulse of the shifting maze, lost inside the charge where the waveform plays. In a rapid burst, patterns crash loud in a tangled thirst. Vocal fragments cut in a filtered glide, drifting through the noise where the shadows hide. Breakdown melts soft like a dying spark. Silence holds thin in the breathing dark. Then the lift revives in a sudden climb, pulling every motion back into the time. Night circuit burning through the haze, flaring up the dark in a neon blaze. Riding on the pulse of the shifting maze, lost inside the charge where the waveform plays. Night circuit burning through the haze, flaring up the dark in a neon blaze. Riding on the pulse of the shifting maze, lost inside the charge where the waveform plays. Fade out in a whisper line, trailing through the void in a slanted shine. But the night still hums in a silent spin, waiting for the current to rise again. Twisting every moment out of time. Hi-hat snap quick like a coated flare. Pattern slice clean through the weighted air. Rise up pulling slow in a tense incline, holding every echo on a faulted line. Signal fracture cut in through the frame, splitting all the noise like a wild flame. Riding on the break of a warped domain, lost inside the drift where the waves unchain. Kick drum bursts in a jagged slam, rhythm shatter sharp like a metal can. Vocal shards shimmer in a drifting haze, falling into patterns where the circuits blaze. Breakdown sing slow like a drain machine, silence trembling thin in a ghost-like sheen. signal fracture cutting through the frame, splitting all the noise like a wild flame, riding on the break of a warp domain, lost inside the drift where the waves unchain. Frequencies fade in a trailing spark, falling like dust through the hollow dark. But the signal hides in a silent seam, waiting for the surge to reawaken. Bling, 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 bling. Oh. Flickers deep in a fractured arc, signal split sharp, cutting through the dark. Bass grows heavy in a sinking wave, dragging every thought to the path it paves. Hi-hats crackle like a thermal spark, pattern slice clean through the circuit's bark. Riser coils tight like a spark restrained, tension fills the room where the sound remains. Neon fault line breaking from below, shattering the pulse in a sudden glow, riding on the clash as the patterns throw, lost inside the quake where the systems flow. Kick rolls pounding in a molten stride, drums collide fast like a crashing tide. Vocal shards drift in a process sweep, ripping through the void where the shadows creep. Shadows creep. Shadow, 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 down hums soft like a dying beam. Silence folds thin like an empty dream, then the burst hits hard with a laser strike, dragging all the chaos back into the spike. Neon fall line breaking from below, shattering the pulse in a sudden glow, riding on the clash as the patterns throw, lost inside the quake where the systems flow. Neon fall line breaking from below, shattering the pulse in a sudden glow, riding on the clash as the patterns throw, lost inside the quake where the systems flow. Fragments fade slow in a dwindling spark, trailing thin lines through the hollow dark. But the neon waits in a buried seam, ready to fracture through the next regime. Pressure snaps deep where the pulses crack, baseline growls low, pulling shadows back. Lead drones tunnel in a frozen sweep, dragging every heartbeat from the deep. Hi-hats flicker like a frantic sign, rhythms punch holes through the tightened line. Riser climbs slow in a burning rise, filling every second with electrified skies. Core collapse, tearing down the grid, shaking every wall till the edge skid, riding on the blast like a force unhid, lost inside the push on the blast like a force unhid, lost inside the push where the sound outbid. In the dust of the broken zone, yet the core still hums in a hidden trace, waiting for the crash of the next embrace.